So let us start with the network layer protocols. The first protocol is Address Resolution Protocol. In this lecture, we will have an introduction to ARP. Before that, we would like to discuss what is address mapping, and then after that, we'll conclude this lecture with ARP's packet format. So what is address mapping? In order to understand Address Resolution Protocol, you must know what is address mapping. The delivery of a packet to a host or a router requires two levels of addressing, logical and physical. We need to map logical address to its corresponding physical address and vice versa. This can be done by static mapping and dynamic mapping. Static mapping involves in the creation of a table that associates a logical address with a physical address. This address mapping table is stored in each device on the network. Static mapping has some limitations because physical addresses may change in the following ways. A machine could change its NIC card, which results into new MAC address. Or in some LANs, such as local talk, the MAC address changes every now and then. So to implement these changes, a static mapping table must be updated periodically, and this is a tedious task. And this is where dynamic mapping comes into picture. In dynamic mapping, each time a device knows one of the two addresses, that is IP address or MAC address, it can use a protocol to find the other one. And that protocol is nothing but ARP. It is a network layer protocol used to address resolution, or in simple words, map address mapping in TCP protocol. So now once we have discussed about address mapping, we will now see what is Address Resolution Protocol. ARP is a network protocol used to find out the hardware address, which is nothing but the MAC address of a device, from an IP address. It is used when a device wants to communicate with some other device on a local network. For example, on an Ethernet network that requires physical address to be known before sending packets. The sending device uses ARP to translate IP address to MAC address. The device then sends an ARP request message containing the IP address of the receiving device. All the devices on a local network segment can see the message, but only the device that has that IP address corresponds with the ARP reply, and it responds to that message. The sending device now has enough information to send the packet to the receiving end. In short, ARP translates the 32-bit physical address to 48-bit addresses and vice versa. So, as you can see, the position of ARP in the TCP/IP protocol suite is it lies along with the IP protocol and helps translating logical address to physical address. ARP resides in the network layer. So, now we will see the working of ARP. Make sure you observe the picture and listen to what I am telling. Step 1. When a source device wants to communicate with another device, source device checks its ARP table to find if it has already resolved a MAC address of the destination device. For example, in the picture, System A wants to communicate with System B, and therefore first it searches in its ARP table whether it has the MAC address of System B. Step 2. If ARP resolution is not there in local cache, the source machine will generate an Address Resolution Protocol request. So, as you can see, System A has generated the message looking for physical address of a node with IP address 141.23.56.23. Step 3. The source broadcasts the Address Resolution Protocol request message to the local network. So, as you can see in the picture, the request message is delivered to each and every PC on that network. Step 4. The message is received by each device on the LAN since it is a broadcast. Now each device compares a target protocol address with the source is trying to communicate with its own protocol address. So those who do not match will drop the packet without any action. Step 5. When the targeted device checks the target protocol address, it will find a match and will generate an address resolution protocol reply message. So as you can see in the first picture, system A has requested a broadcast message to each and every computer on the system. System B finds a match because system B's IP address is 141.23.56.23. So B says, hey, it's a match, and therefore B replies to A's broadcast message with its own MAC address. So in the step 7, the destination device sends the ARP reply message, and it will not be a broadcast message, but it will be a unicast message. This is very important. So source sends the broadcast message, whereas the destination always replies back in unicast message. Now step 8. The source machine will process the ARP reply from destination. So once system A receives the reply that system B's IP MAC address is A4:6E:F4:59:83:AB. Now what system A does? System A now gets that okay, so the machine with IP address 141.23.56.23 has a MAC address of A4:6E:F4:59:83:AB. So system A will store these two values in its ARP cache table. And the last step, the source machine will update its address resolution protocol cache with the sender hardware address and the sender protocol address it received via ARP reply message. So this is how ARP works. So let us have a look at ARP packet format. Hardware header or hardware type. This is to specify the kind or the type of hardware used by the local network for transmitting the ARP messages. The next is the protocol type. It is used to assign a fixed number in this field. IPv4 has a number 2408. Hardware size. This is the length in bytes for the MAC address. Generally, we see the Ethernet has a MAC address of 6 bytes long. Protocol size or protocol length. It represents the length of the IPv4 logical address. Then operation request. This is the logical address in bytes. It specifies the nature of the ARP message. Then sender hardware address or sender MAC address. Layer 2 address for the device sending the message. Then sender IP address. Protocol address in the IPv4 for the devices sending that message. And target hardware address is nothing but the layer 2 address of the receiver. And target protocol address, that is target IP address, is the protocol address for the intended receiver. In this lecture, we first saw what is address mapping, then we saw how ARP works and why do we need ARP, and we also saw the broadcast and the unicast messages, and finally concluded our lecture with ARP packet format. In the next lecture, we will talk about a different protocol, which is Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, DHCP, which is used for assigning dynamic IP addresses in a computer network.